Okay, looks like we're mostly here in those two settings. Let's begin with a moment of silence. Okay, tradition. First thing we do is introduce new residents. I saw some come in, but I don't know where they landed. So, Ann Spice and Jenny Dorsman, are you all here? No? Okay, got them next time. Bob and Carol Johnson. Hey, you stand up and wave. They come to us from the right, now on T12. I think Sharon and Hank Humphreys might be here for the first time. Yeah, not very many. And Judy Harrison? Yes, Karen O'Farrell. All right. So, as you've seen, we have a really big agenda. So to try to save just a few minutes, I'm going to do a few reports from residents. The Residents Association Fund Drive was coordinated by Linda Dwyer. And at our council meeting last week, she reported that we met our goal. We raised $7,420. And adding that to what is currently in the checking account, we have sufficient funds to approve all of the community budget requests for 2025. And Eric Baum is coordinating the Winter Staff Appreciation Fund Drive. And he gave me this report before I read to you. That's the new one. Yes, it says. We have a great staff here at KLX, and twice each year we take the opportunity to say thank you to them. We do this by making a contribution, which is then given to them in their paychecks. Thus far, $83,853 has been contributed by you to the Staff Appreciation Fund. Our goal is $100,000, so we're getting close. If you've made a contribution, thank you. And this is for me personally. If you're like me and it got to the bottom of the papers on your desk, please pull it out and make your contribution by December 1st. Okay, first things committees. Many of you know, but some of you may not know, that all committees dissolve at the end of the year and are reconstituted in January. The sign-up sheets are going to appear in your mail copy sometime this week. And whether you want to stay on the committee that you've been serving on or you want to make a change, you need to sign up again. And you're going to need to turn them in by December 9th. That's all on the form. Now, it's important to consider that residents here at Kendall and Lexington have a greater voice in operational decisions than most residents in most continuing care retirement communities. Some of our committees operate essentially independently, and I would list library and culture and entertainment as examples of those. So it's really important that they have a variety of perspectives represented on those committees. And there are others that serve an advisory role to management. Examples would be dining or horticultural facilities. So a broad range of perspectives is equally important, especially since we're asked to take our personal requests through committees rather than going directly to the departments. And even if you just arrived at Kendall in 2024, you're not too new to serve on the committee. As long as you have a perspective and you have the ability to listen to other perspectives around you, you are fully qualified. All right, Diane is next. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to see a full house. I love it. I do want to start the meeting though, to introduce you to a colleague of mine from the Kendall Corporation, Jen Karsten. You can put a name with a face if Jen can stand up. Jen is our governance advisor at the corporate at the TKC. And she's here to learn a little bit more about Kendall at Lexington. We love when our colleagues from TKC come to visit. We have Christian here pretty often now in dining. We've had Dan Rock here. We've had Vassar here, and now we have Jen. So thank you for coming. She's learning a little bit more about us and also meeting with the board tomorrow. So speaking of the board, the final proposed operations and capital budget will be presented to the board tomorrow for approval. So on December 10th at 11 o'clock in Kendall Hall, Felicia will be presenting that budget to all of you. So be here December 10th at 11 o'clock and you'll get all the scoop. Just to let you know, October 25th, 2024, Jan Bigelow signed the long-awaited affiliation agreement. It's my understanding that all the affiliates intend to sign it and we can move on after many years of conversation and consensus building. A little bit of an update on the dining. So on November 1st, you know that we made a change in our dining director. And over the next few months, we will be getting support from Christian Ramsey, who is the Director of Operations at TKC. And we'll also be getting support from other culinary directors within the Kendall system. We will also be utilizing Laurel Elliott, who is a consultant from Integra, who is a vendor that we use for our procurement and getting supplies. So she will be here to help us as well. We did begin initial interviews for the position replacement, and I will guarantee you we'll take our time finding that right person for that all-important position. Many of you, or some of you maybe have met Michael by now, Michael Henrichs, H-I-N-R-I-C-H-S, not Hendricks, but Henrichs, has joined the team as our executive chef. If you have not had a chance to meet Michael, he will be out and about, so please introduce yourself. He will be working with Christian over the next few weeks to have a full on-board plan, which they've come up with. Michael has 30 years of culinary experience and has recently served in senior living at Westminster Canterbury in Charlottesville. Another thing that I just wanted to remind you of, I have personally been getting them. I know some of the core leadership team and other staff have been getting them. Scams. 'Tis the season for scams. We are seeing more and more scams on texts, coming through as a text. So emails, text, delete them, don't respond to them. There are plenty of them out there. So please, please, please be extra careful. And if you don't recognize it, delete them. If they want to get in touch with you, trust me, they'll find you. And then last but not least, I just want to thank all of you for the support that you've given me over the last 4.5 years, and for the wonderful memories that I will take with me. We've been through a lot together, and looking back, I would not have altered a whole lot other than Nielsen. You're in good hands with a dedicated and talented leadership team, a very competent interim CEO in Felicia, and a board that cares deeply about each of you. Kendall at Lexington is a special place with great people, and I've appreciated the opportunity to serve as your CEO. Thank you. Okay, next up, Erica with the marketing update.
Good morning, everybody. There is a lot that marketing is going to share this morning, so I'm going to try to be quick, but if you have any questions as I go along, just feel free to stop me. So we are at a 100% occupancy reserve for occupancy still, so yay to that. We do have one more closing on December 16th. We'll welcome Sally Wyant to the community in Cottage 1007. We're excited to have her here. In the first 3 months of 2025, we have closings, so we will have a busy start to the year. That's exciting as well. We have 209 people on the wait list today, 59 of which are ready. On December 5th, we will be decorating the float for the Christmas parade. We're going to meet in here very briefly and then go outside to do that. Please feel free to join us. More hands make for easier work. The theme this year is Parade of Lights, and all I'm going to say is our parade float will have a leg lamp. So if you know that reference, we look forward to seeing what this is going to look like. On December 13th, I'm going to have an internal open house. We're going to tour Webster and Borden, but we're also going to tour 5 cottages that are going to be decorated for the season. I've gone back and forth on whether this is going to be open to waitlist members, and it is not. It's just for you all. So if you ever wondered what some of these cottages look like, now is the time to get on board. I will show you more. Well, I'll show you, but I'll also tell you more as I hash out a few more details. But 'tis the season, and I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be a great event, and it's the same day as the Webster. I don't even know what to call it, like the tree event. The tree.
Festival of Trees.
Festival of Trees. So it'll be festival everywhere we go, hopefully. Thank you. And then
Again, please.
December 13th.
Thank you.
Yes. We're almost done with our IL inventory audits. So thank you to every single person that's let us in your home to take a look at your home and take a few notes. We really appreciate that. That's been super helpful to not only us, but Felicia has been really appreciative of that as well. I've been asked to remind you that we're having some parties for Jan. So on Thanksgiving morning, there will be scones and cider in here as per usual, and her and Rich will be here to greet and meet. And it'll be a chance for you all to say goodbye that day. And then December 2nd, we will also have a little party in here where everybody will be invited to say goodbye. And then on December 3rd, we will have a special conversation in honor of Jan. So please feel free to stop by that as well. There will be some light hors d'oeuvres. Most of you were at the Cubico training yesterday. I think I still have PTSD. So there's 2 more trainings for that tomorrow at 11 a.m. and then again on Monday at 11 a.m. And if you all are gonna miss all of them, I'm recording the one on Monday. So that'll go on YouTube and we'll send a link out. And then lastly, the 25th anniversary year is almost upon us. And so we're gonna have a lot of events around that. And I plan to communicate more about that very soon. Probably right after Christmas. So stay tuned. I'm looking forward to sharing more about that. So I'm going to turn it over to Sarah, and Kevin has some really interesting details to share with you. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so since the last RA meeting, I'm just going to give you some fun facts. Kevin and I have had 18 tours, try-its, and meetings since that last RA meeting. People came from California, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Maine, North Carolina, and all over Virginia. So we're getting a good melting pot of people coming to see. This resulted in 9 new waitlist members, and that's just since last month. Those people are from Lake Ariel, Pennsylvania, Keene, New Hampshire, Richmond, Virginia, Annandale, Virginia, McLean, Virginia, and 4 different couples and singles from Lexington. We also had 1 new reservation. We'll have 3 move-ins and 1 more coming in December.
The other day, Diane Herrick asked me to add somebody she knew to our database so they would start getting communication from Kendall and Lexington. And I think asked me, so how many people do we have in that database anyway? And I told her, and then she said, you should talk about that in a residents association meeting. So here I am. Sales is a numbers game. And Erica, Sarah, and I currently manage a database of 905 active opportunities. That's what we call prospect and prospect couples. They're active opportunities. In the past 30 days, we have performed 575 sales activities, touching 557 of those 905 active opportunities. Sales activities include phone calls, emails, information packets being mailed, meetings with prospects, tours with prospects, try-it visits with prospects, and a process that we also call lost leads, when we've given up on somebody in our database, either because they asked us to remove them, or they told us they're going somewhere else, or they died, or for whatever reason, they're no longer an active opportunity for us. So since the first of this year, we've had 369 initial inquiries. Most of those come from our very excellent website, which Erica does an amazing job of keeping current and relevant with new content going on every week. So 369 initial inquiries so far this year. During that same time, 348 prospects were declared lost leads. So 369 in, 348 out. That's why our database is almost always somewhere between 900 and 1,000 active opportunities. Because we do a good job of removing them when they're no longer a true prospect for us. Since the beginning of this year, we have done 6,349 emails and call-outs. We've given 70 tours. We've hosted 21 try-it stays. We've added 48 to the wait list, as Sarah told you, and we've lost 30. 14 of the ones we lost were requested refunds. 16 left the wait list because they became residents. And all of that since just the first of this year. And that, all of that sales activity, that numbers game that we play, that is why we stay at 100% occupancy. Thank you.
Time for Todd.
All right, good morning. Gave about 20 updates yesterday at the facilities meeting, but we're a few minutes behind, so I'm only going to give about a third that many today, and hopefully we'll get caught back up. First update is on the door project. We're still working on the punch list for that. The contractor was here again this week. You may have seen them hammering and wrenching and cursing at the doors. There's a few that are still giving us some issues, but most of that's done and we're making progress on that punch list. Second update is we actually have a vendor who's agreed to sell us a new curtain for Kendall Hall. It is ordered and funded and approved, and they say I'll have it before the end of the year. So maybe time will tell. We'll see. But at least that has moved, and we've gotten someone to agree to sell us a new one. Window cleaning. You may have noticed our annual window cleaning people did not show up this fall. When we tried to schedule that work, they were booked up and they had some family emergencies, so their availability was only about a third of the normal projects that they do. Rather than go out and try to find a new, unknown, flip a coin and see if it works or not contractor, he said, how about I do it late winter, early spring next year? So that's what we did. So we're going to keep the same guy who we've been very happy with. He brings a great crew and does a good job. But we're going to hit that in a few months rather than doing it this time of year like we normally do. New sidewalk. You all remember the WNL student project about traffic and pedestrian safety. Several phases to that. The first is a new sidewalk that connects, basically goes along Spring Lot and connects the Sunrise Ridge area over to the Kendall Hall area. That phase one is funded and approved, and they parked their equipment and spray painted the plan yesterday. I told them not to start digging for a day or two, and I invite you all to go up and eyeball the spray painted, meandering, curving sidewalk that we're designing. And if there's something really stupid that I missed, please let me know before we pour a billion pounds of concrete up there. Fitness flooring, funded and approved. We're replacing the flooring in the fitness equipment room. It's been ordered. I don't have an exact date yet. It will necessitate shutting down that room for a little bit though. So we're working with the gals down there to make sure it is communicated and deconflicted to get some new flooring in there for everybody. You probably have seen both our internal staff and some outside contractors working around. We continue to have some significant issues with termites, leaks, and both design and construction defects. You probably saw some scaffolding and some cursing workers near the employee entrance in the last few weeks. All of that is unplanned and unscheduled. I just ask your continued patience and bear with us as we work on things that weren't planned but show up at the top of a have-to-do list. Utilities, we are on track with gas and electricity. I ask you all to continue help with water. That is the one utility that we are over budget, both in dollars and in consumption. We're okay. We're making up the difference in the other ones as far as paying our bills, but it's a noticeable uptick. We've had a steady increase every month since April in water usage. So please be cognizant of that. Sunnyside renovation, there's some money in the 2024 budget for that. There's several elements to that. I finally have designs and quotes for both new roof and new HVAC system going in there. I'm working through the beam counting and engineering vetting of those right now. We'll probably end up putting down some deposits and getting that moving shortly. I'm not sure we'll actually have people swinging hammers before the end of the year, but the one contractor says he can probably do that. So you'll probably see some movement on that fairly soon. And last thing on my short list today is the Webster dining sprinkler repairs. Those are finished in the dining room, but we found the same construction design issue on the activities room right across the hall. And rather than wait for a hot day when those would blow, we're proactively redesigning and changing those as well. That space will be back online before Thanksgiving. We're about 2/3 through the repairs there, so it should be minimally disruptive. And again, I know that displaced and had a significant impact to a lot of people. I appreciate everybody's patience while we elevate another thing to the top of the, oh God, gotta do it now list. Try to cross that. Okay, that's my list, pending any questions or major things I missed this morning. Okay, thank you.
And up there, this one's standing.
Good morning. I was just telling Carol, new here, that CNE really means program committee. But anyway, we just use a different word. We really have a lot still going on. This afternoon, people have signed up to go to the Cantina Mexican restaurant. We're leaving at 5:30. Tomorrow, Ed Dooley is going to give a talk about the founding of BMI, something that he knows a lot about, and I hope that you'll take advantage of coming for that talk at 4:30 here in Campbell Hall. On Sundays, we have Sunday streaming at 6:30. Vic always chooses an interesting variety of topics for these presentations here in Campbell Hall. On December 3rd, WNL will have its ever popular Holiday Pops concert over at the Lenfest Center. And Wednesday, December 4th, Dick Rao, a noted ornithologist, will be showing his slides and talking about the 100th anniversary, the 100 years of the December bird count here in Rockbridge County. And it's interesting to track the species that they see over the years here. Friday and Saturday, December 6th and 7th, is our holiday craft fair. And as we get closer to it, we thank so many people for participating and making items and so on. And you'll hear more about that soon. The 10th, we'll have a trip to VMI to one of those huge buildings that we see on Main Street. That is the Core Fitness Training Center. It's big enough to have a track and it's canted. So if you haven't ever been in there, I hope you'll take advantage of that particular trip. On the 11th, the Kendall Singers will have their annual holiday program in the evening at 7:30. And on the 12th, we're going to be dining out at Heliotrope. They have great pizzas there, and they have a small brewery in the back, so we'll be able to see what that is doing. And we always on Saturdays have game day down in the cafe at 1:30. And then in December, we're going to have two Anavilias and Julia Gadamova will have their student recitals. It's always fun to see the little tykes as they get better and better. You know, it's interesting. Most of you are reading the screen. But it does help. I found I was doing that as well. So I thank you, and I thank all of you for the ideas. You have great ideas for programs, and keep on letting people on the CNE committee know about what's coming up. Thanks. Who do you have a question?
Can you tell us about the Connections Hospice program that's listed for December 3rd? I saw it on one of their.
Light up the light.
That's an annual event that's not necessarily sponsored by Kendall, but they use Kendall Hall for it. So I would get in touch with hospice if you want more information about attending that.
What we put on our calendar mostly is Kendall programs that CNE has initiated. There are a lot of other programs coming up, just the kinds of things Erica was doing. So stay posted, but we do our programs that we have started. Thanks.
All right, coming up.
Good morning to you all, and it's a wonderful crowd we have here this morning for this Residents Association meeting. I'm here to report on Kendall College. As I told those who were in attendance, and it's probably most of you here, for the last Bob Strong talk on the election a week ago, you now have a Kendall College holiday. You're on vacation till the rest of this year and into early 2025. We've got two interesting but probably somewhat different programs for you as the first two in the year 2025. The first one will be in late January and early February, and for the first time in at least 15 years or so, we're having a program on poetry. It'll be on great American poets, and the three poets that will be considered are Walt Whitman first on January 29th, and that will be presented by Edward Adams, who is a longstanding professor of history at Washington and Lee, but he uses Walt Whitman in his classes, his history classes, and he knows him quite well. The second one on February 5th will be Emily Dickinson, and Emily Dickinson will be presented by Mary Jo Salter. That's right, J.O. She's a story in itself, and I won't go into it now except to tell you that she's a published poet. She's published 9 books of poetry, and she has taught Emily Dickinson, among other poets, at both Mount Holyoke College and Johns Hopkins University. And the third program will be February the 12th on Robert Frost. And Robert Frost will be presented by a former professor of English, but the one who was asked 40-some years ago to set up the Is this on? Okay. February the 12th, Robert Frost will be presented by Rob Fury, who came to Washington and Lee 40-some years ago to teach English, but was enlisted quickly to set up the Office of Lifelong Learning, which he's run for more than 40 years until he retired a year or so ago. And he's recognized by his peers in that business as having set up the best alumni college type educational program in the country. After that series ends, we will have in March 5, 12, and 19, the first 3 Wednesdays in March, a program on economics taught by Art Goldsmith, who has been the superstar of the economics department at WNL for a number of years. And he's going to present 3 programs on the economic and social consequences of today's technological advances, with a focus primarily on artificial intelligence, something you'll all enjoy. Hope you all have a good holiday season, and I'll see you in January.
Yeah, we're gonna take a minute while Rick gets his break up.
Thank you, Harden, for messing up the program here. Well, as part of the nominating committee, I'm here to formally present the membership of the council for next year. And so as they read their name, will they step forward and be recognized? Lee Henkel will serve her 2nd year as the president of the council. Harrison will serve as vice president. Jane Comstock will be moving from member at large to serve as secretary. Linda Dwyer will serve as treasurer. And she'll be serving her 2nd year. Malu Pagari will be serving her 2nd year as member at large. Anita James will begin her 1st year as a member at large. Pam Adams will also serve as a member at large. Candidates for the 2025 Residents Council. I'm happy to inform you that Pam's sick aunt in Delaware has recovered fully, and she's moved to an undisclosed location in Pennsylvania. So these people cannot take off on the 3rd Wednesday of the month. They will be present for all the council meetings this coming year. And that was the sole requirement we had this year, that we be present for the council meeting and also the association meeting. So we're happy. And what I need is an acclamation from the residents here. And I'm not sure how we do that. If you object to this council, please stand. If you approve of this council, please remain seated, and we extend the applause to these new council members. Your first checks will not be arriving shortly. We've canceled out on your check. Did you have any? You were just taking, but you knew I was next. Is somebody next? Donna.
Morning, everyone. Morning. How many of you have not heard that we're having a holiday in December? Okay, great, thank you. Make this real short and sweet now. We have 19 vendors this year. Wow. And several of them we had in prior years. So that's exciting. So we have new things to show. We have a lot of people who help make things for our hands-on table where all the proceeds go to our staff, Staff Appreciation Fund. So we're looking forward to having everybody here. I've got those people who are vending. Could you stand up and come up here and show you what a sample of what you're going to be selling. I've seen several of you here. But we have, Webster is gonna have a table of things that people in Webster have made, and they're selling. And we have a number of staff showing things this year. And we only had 1 or 2 staff last year. We have several staff with some exciting things. So I'm hoping to see everyone there with your pockets open, ready to do your holiday shopping. Thank you.
Good morning. Back in August, we asked all of our independent living residents to complete a food and dining preferences survey. I'm here this morning to thank everyone who responded and share the results of the survey. And we have a very full agenda this morning, so I'm going to try and move quickly through the slides. And in fact, I'm going to read what I've written rather than wander off into a tangent somewhere. So about survey, it's a collaboration between the dietary department and the food and dining committee. Representative of each group got together and developed questions with an overarching goal to create a survey that provided useful information, but was not so long as to discourage people from responding. Thus, the emphasis on baseline information, broad patterns of usage, general levels of satisfaction, and areas for improvement. And we think we have sufficient information to make some immediate improvements, as well as look for other areas for further inquiry. The boring stuff. Won't read each point, but I want to give a shout out to Erica Turman for her wonderful help. She loaded all the questions into the SurveyMonkey tool, and her insights into the survey development were enormously helpful. The survey went through several iterations, was piloted by the full food committee before it was finally released to you, the community. The committee and the dietary team feel that the response rate and the results are very gratifying, and they provide a valuable trove of information for guiding future dietary department planning service. As you can see, about 2/3 of our independent living residents responded, and we thank you for that. What you told us. Again, I won't read each bit of information, but this is a slide to help identify differences among groups based on how long individuals have lived here in Kendall. Quite unexpectedly, most people have lived here more than 5 years, and the fewest have lived here for less than a year. Some folks reported food allergies, sensitivities, restrictions, or preferences. This is really obviously quite important, especially with regard to allergies, and suggests the need for a structured means of identifying residents with allergies or sensitivities, as well as communicating potential risks associated with ingredients in food that is served, not just in the dining room, but also on board in Webster. So that's an area for more or less immediate action on the part of the committee and the dietary department. Not very surprising that people prefer the buffet style dining service, or that most people only eat one meal a day, one Kendall provided meal a day. However, coupled with the written comments that we received, there may be some interest in additional dining options, such as breakfast or possibly a Sunday evening meal in addition to the brunch. This clearly will require additional information gathering and discussion, so we'll be looking at that, I suspect, in the near future. Again, no real surprises. Most folks eat in the dining room, but it is noteworthy that about 22% of the respondents seldom eat in the dining room. Don't know whether this is a lingering effect of COVID restrictions or has some other cause, but it's worth looking into further. Now, equal numbers of residents take several meals per day versus less than once a week. Interestingly, just over half of residents pick up meals from the buffet to take home. If you look at several times a week, daily, and once a week, that's roughly 50.7% of our residents. Okay, opinions on meals served in the dining room. Think of these scores as GPAs from your school days. For each attribute, menu, atmosphere, presentation, and preparation, we multiplied that by a weight. Excellent got a 4, good got a 3, fair got a 2, and poor was ranked 1. Summed those and divided by the total number of responses to arrive at a weighted score. These results we think will help the dietary department focus on areas for increased emphasis or focus, such as menu and preparation. And in this case, you can look at this, both folks who carry out meals and folks who eat in the dining room. It all comes off the buffet, so it's essentially the same information that we're looking at. Opinions related to the restaurant. Not huge utilization of the restaurant, and I think we all probably have inklings of why that is. However, it's nice to see that menu, atmosphere, presentation, preparation are all pretty highly regarded. Service has been a struggle as a result of some changes in personnel and just ongoing. It's been a tough year for the dietary. The thing to look at here is that aggregate number on the bottom. The overall aggregate weighted score for the dining room is 2.98. So that's almost good. Close enough, I think, to call it that. The restaurant gets a higher ranking, and I would say that on that preparation of the food at the scale of the dining room, with the serving mechanism that we have there, makes a comparison with the much smaller on-demand preparation and serving process of the restaurant, kind of an apples to oranges proposition, but that it offers the incoming dietary department leadership team a baseline by which they can judge the effect of their efforts. It's a nice target to shoot at, if you will. Your humble reporter is not particularly surprised by this response, at least based on 11 months of dining comment cards, Katie comments, email, and survey results. These will also be useful in informing the dietary department in their menu and food service planning. Groceries. Again, this slide provide some baseline information for reviewing and potentially modifying grocery operations, or options, excuse me, that are available in the future. Additional written comments. Thank you very much for your thoughtful, candid, and helpful comments. Not all of them offered actionable suggestions, but that's okay. They will all be reviewed and considered by the committee and the dietary staff. And they're particularly important to the incoming dietary leadership team, one of whom, Jan mentioned earlier, Executive Chef Michael Henricks, is on day 3 of his second week at Kendall. When I talked to him yesterday, we agreed that what he is doing is drinking from a fire hose. So, anyway, next question, what happens now? The subcommittee of the food committee has been formed and is currently reviewing all the comments. We plan to meet in the next week or so to develop recommendations for the full committee's review. Approved recommendations will be forwarded to dietary and Kendall administration for consideration. For those that can be implemented, the committee will track their implementation and keep you, the community, updated. Finally, the Food and Dining Committee has worked and continues to work with the Dietary Department to respond to residents' comments. Many of these issues and comments we received in the survey are not new, and the committee will continue to work collaboratively with Dietary to address them. The Dietary Department is currently undergoing, as we might imagine, an unprecedented change. Kendall administration, as well as the Kendall Corporation, have been working closely together, and I've had the good fortune to meet with Christian at some length. They work closely together to ensure that dietary services here successfully negotiate the change, and that this important, very important component of our lives here emerges better and more responsive for it. Please continue to share your thoughts and comments as we go forward together. Thank you very much.
Will this survey be on Katie?
I'll put it up there, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I will put these slides up there. We have the data in several formats. I will anonymize it when it gets loaded up. I've probably got 20 spreadsheets that I'm working with on it now, so I'll get that up as soon as I can.
Thank you, Bill. It's Carla to talk about medication use and disposal. Good morning.
My name's Carla. I'm the Assistant Director of Nursing. I'm not sure if everybody knows me or not. You'll kind of see me everywhere. I do spend a lot of time in AL, of course, Gordon, and my office is in the clinic. But I wanted to spend some time and talk to you guys about medications and disposal. Very basic information. So what is a medication? It's a substance used for medical treatment. So medications can be prescription, of course, over the counters, vitamins and minerals, and supplements. And I guess you can also consider food as medications as well. So medications interact with other medications, such as aspirins can interact with blood thinners, can increase bleeding risk. It can interact with your organs. So some of your medications may affect your kidneys, can affect your liver. Taking too much Tylenol can cause liver problems as well. So it can also interact with vitamins and minerals. So timing of medications is important as well, just because you may want to take things separately. And also over-the-counter medications, some cough medicines can affect your blood pressure. And so I want to urge you guys to talk with your primary care doctors when you're starting a new medicine. If you're feeling bad before you take anything over the counter, how to give your doctor's office a call and make sure it's okay. They have the capability to check and make sure there isn't going to be an interaction. Do not share your medications. So if you have a friend who is starting to have a urinary tract infections, don't say, hey, I have leftover antibiotics. That is not recommended. And also, if you have a friend in Gordon or Webster who calls and says, I'm having this problem, can you bring me something over? I would rather you speak with the nursing staff before doing that, instead of bringing the medications over. Just because our nursing staff, we do need to know what residents are on, just so we can talk to their doctors to make sure that's the route they want to take. So to dispose of your medications, you can take your old medications to drug drop-off locations. They're at the police departments, you can find them at the pharmacies. Our clinic has a limited amount of drug disposal kits, so you can come by there and get those until we're out of them. As far as needles, lancets, things like that, you can get a hard plastic container. So that could be a laundry detergent container, like a Gatorade bottle container. Put all your needles and sharps in that. You can collect them till it's full, and you can actually throw that in the trash can. And when your doctors are changing your medications, or they change your antibiotics, or they say, oh, you don't need this dosage of this medication anymore, get rid of that pill bottle and get rid of those pills, just because it can help decrease your chance of having a medication error, taking too much, taking the wrong thing. So just get rid of them, put them somewhere where you aren't able to see them anymore. So, do you have any questions? That's all I have.
Okay, last but definitely not least, Pam is going to talk to us about our upcoming transition and how we're going to handle it.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Pam Lucky, and I'm the board chair at Kendall at Lexington. I've been board chair since May of 2021. And I've actually been on the board at last count 13 years in 2 stints. I was on for 9 years back in the old days, then went off for 3 years, and then rejoined the board in May of 2020, the same month that Jan arrived. And then I became chair the next year. So I'm here to talk to you about this transition. I know how important the leadership of Kendall at Lexington is to all of you, and it is to me as well. And so I want to tell you what the board is doing, and then open it up for questions afterwards. I realize the hour is late. If some of you need to be other places and want to leave, I will not be offended, but let's get going. So I think you've all seen the announcement that Felicia Bush will be the interim CEO beginning December 6th. And Stephanie Scott, who is our financial controller, will cover some of her duties in addition to her own. And I think some of you may not have met Stephanie Scott yet, but she's very capable, and you will be seeing more of her, I'm sure. In addition, Doug Hellman, who is a transition specialist from the Kendall Corp, will be joining us in February for probably 2 weeks a month, maybe 1 month, 1 week on, 1 week off. And he will offer us guidance and advice. And I want to assure you that the board is fully engaged in the process of recruiting and hiring the next CEO. This is the most important thing that a nonprofit board does, is recruit and hire a CEO. So already we had a special meeting by Zoom last week, and we had all but one member who was able to join us. And this included a member who's on a leave of absence because he's on assignment in Slovenia. So we had an international board meeting. And Vassar Bird, the Kendall Corp CEO, joined us. She was in a car being driven, fortunately, by someone else. But it was a very engaged meeting. And we're having a regular board meeting tomorrow. Some of you know this already, but we have a very experienced board. There are 16 members of the board. Many of them, including myself, have conducted searches before. So bottom line, we're confident that we can carry out a successful search. So the next steps after that, I will form a search committee and residents will be part of it. I would guess that would be announced in a week or two. And the search committee will engage in a review of the current job description for the CEO to see if we need to update it in any way to make sure that we're looking for the person for the next 5 years, next 10 years, next 25 years. It's possible that you will get a survey or will be invited to a focus group to comment on the CEO job description. So if you do, please say yes. Then the search committee will cast the net broadly for applicants and try to get a large, highly qualified applicant pool. And then they will distill that pool to a group of finalists, a small group of finalists, whom we will invite to campus. And when they come to campus, both staff and residents and the board will have a chance to interact with these candidates. Several of you have asked me, how long is this going to take? And my answer is months, not weeks. We want to do it right. As I know a lot of you in this room know, searches sometimes take unusual curves and detours, so we're going to make sure we carry this out in a thorough and professional way. And I want to assure you that we feel very supported by the Kendall Corporation through this process. Vassar has talked to me, the executive committee, the full board. She answers emails promptly. She is deeply committed to our success. And Jen Karsten, who is visiting us these next 2 days, will be helping us as well. The timing of her visit here is coincidental, but I'd say fortuitous. So that's good. And I also want to say I've been in contact with the board chairs at 2 other Kendall affiliates who have recently gone through a CEO search, and they've been incredibly helpful. And so I just want to, this is a reminder to me, and I hope to you, that at times like these, this is why it's good to be part of the Kendall system. We have support, and we really feel it now. Just a little bit about communications. I hope you all got the emails last week. Anita James and Sally Nunnally held a space for me in the upcoming Connections edition, and I appreciate their help. And I will send more emails and write more Connections articles if and when I have something to share. I know a lot of you have probably been through searches like this, and you know that there can be quiet times when it's not possible to share information, and just please understand that. It's sometimes there are confidential conversations going on, or people who don't want their candidacy known, etc. So feel free to email me, text me, grab me in the hall, and the same with other board members. A number of them are going to be staying for dinner afterwards in the cafeteria after the board meeting tomorrow. So be sure to let them know your thoughts and your opinions. you are part of this process and we really care what you have to say and, what your concerns are. So with that, I am happy to answer any questions. Come on.
I guess you know, very thoroughly.
All right. Well, and thank you all for being here today, and I look forward to working with you all as we find our successor to Jane.
Well, I'm amazed that it's less than 5 minutes after the hour. Anything that needs to come from the floor? Belle?
In the future, is there any way the font size on those slides can be large enough so we can actually read them?
I'll keep that in mind.
Thank you.
Anything else? Well, we don't usually meet in December because holidays and things are filling our time. So no meeting in December. We'll be back again in January. Thank you.